is refusing to accept directives from the apex court of this land, where are we going?
That is
we are going back. You are restoring the law of nature in this country, where the strongest fights and wins. Is that where we want to get to as a country? You are the lawmakers. You should be setting the right example, is what people have said.
That is why you should have knowledgeable people in the Supreme Court. You should have people who know their law. You know why?
The Supreme Court is not made up of knowledgeable people.
If they were knowledgeable, they would have known.
Yeah, that's why I've been asking.
That person is not going to have crazy.
Yes, but that's why I've been asking. Yes, that's why I've been asking.
Property rights have been offended.
Yes, that's why I've been asking.
No, Moro, that's not it.
Can somebody be arrested
Moro,
just
that is
because
not
the person
it.
said
That is not it.
saw his back?
Moro, that is not it.
Okay,
we were told that the person has been arrested because he put on his Facebook page that Doom saw his back with the description of the picture of the president.
Yes,
guess what?
Yeah.
I'm told that when the lawyers of David Sando went to the BNI, and they asked the BNI officials, why have you arrested my client? You know what they told them? They said because he had written that Doomso was back.
Yes, that's what they said to me.
That one is wrong.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
That's what I've asked several times that.
Abushanti, people are saying, say, press conference here, minority leader, ebeye no, anka wonimu anka wanye, enti ehun komo, ba hun komo, ba ono mo bon twetwe ntansa ne ade dodo no atwetwe no ne ade na no achi na minority aside krata ba bonte say they mean every word ya minority leader no ebekaye na eno na ene no Metro TV uncle Kwesi Pratt ene Collins Adomakomens honorable akwa crash wo ho a enye crash nketo all because of the honorable Adomakomens ekaye no na eno na omo be refer video bi a yewura Mahama Ayarega and the majority leader edi nkomo bi a wo kire se judge fo no a then time no omo na nadan kokufo do abreso no omo nye knowledgeable kire se omo nim nyansa omo ninim die and omo refer that video eno achi there is this issue am say me ndi aikada abrante no ye kwa chain wo gomuano all because what post say Doomso is back no. And they even Metro TV host in the class one just it's a shame. Was it a shame? Because sa dear way a baby a buyer Hassan Ayarega or the same Mahama Ayarega etimi kwatna Joy News sa Joy Prime ekodi nkomo sa den tell na do nkoku for the presso judges omo ho na omo ye knowledgeable even omo koya be trouble from so omo ye unanimous FC and I said your baby omo dene be kono oh, there was a lot of insult against judges at that time. But then you know, you see a frame mark in a caucus judge no one didn't all respecting people are not supporting, people are insulting, people are doing saying things, a lot of things. I was saying we are come no met what our comment section. But before that in Persia Coco share video no at the course so our Metro TV particular. Yeah, between Adomakomens Collins, honorable, and uncle Kwesi Pratt, and common of course,
somebody put on the Facebook page that Doomso is back. Moro, in all honesty, tell me, where in Ghana's law, tell me, how practical is it for you to arrest somebody because he put on his Facebook page that there is Doomso? I, as the deputy ranking member of my party in parliament, go to my Facebook page. I have written there that when I went to my village, there was light off. So I should be arrested for that. Is that not political persecution? Should I be arrested for that? Moro, I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Should I be arrested for that? Because I put on my Facebook page that there is no shop.
I've asked this question, Collins. I've asked this question several times, and the whole of this week, in fact, including last week, I've asked this question: are we able to really confirm that the basis for the arrest of David Sando, was because he said Doomso is back?
And they said
that would be very shameful.
Yes, and they said he put
he said
he put the president picture by it.
No. I really wondered if indeed that was the case.
But Collins knows that what he's saying is not the truth.
What is the truth? Okay, maybe you can help us.
Yes, I'll help you. You know, the image which he used on his Facebook is actually from a billboard produced by somebody.
Yes.
So all he did was to use the artwork, including the president's picture, and described, his slogan, "Do so is back." What I'm told, and challenge me if you think I'm wrong, is that the producer of that billboard, the person who did that artwork, reported to the police for theft of intellectual property.
Oh, God.
Okay.
You understand? How is that person President Mahama?
Yeah, that's why I've been asking.
That person is not President Mahama.
Yes, but that's why I've been asking. Yes, that's why I've been asking.
Property rights have been offended.
Yes, that's why I've been asking.
No, Moro, that's not it.
Can somebody be arrested
Moro,
just
that is
because
not
the person
it.
said
That is not
so
it.
is back?
Moro, that is not it.
Okay,
we were told that the person has been arrested because he put on his Facebook page that Dumso is back with the description or the picture of the president.
There's a
What is it?
Guess what?
Yeah.
I'm told that when the lawyers of David Sando went to the BNI, Kaukudi, and they asked the BNI officials, why have you arrested my client? You know what they told them? They said because he had written that Dumso was back.
Yes, no, that's what
they said to me.
That one is wrong.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
That's what I've asked several times that indeed it's not the case.
No, if that is the case,
that would be very strange.
Nobody can justify that.
You can't justify that.
Only yesterday. Hold on. Only yesterday, I got to know that there's actually a complainant. There's a complainant.
So now when there's a civil matter and there's a complainant, is the BNI that arrests the citizen? When there's a complainant on a civil matter,
check first and see whether there's a complainant.
And there's a civil matter.
Theft.
A civil matter. Is the BNI that arrests?
Obviously, even if there's a complainant, you would have expected the Ghana Police Service to move him, and not the BNI. I mean,
on this particular matter,
we need to get to the bottom of this.
On this
Even though I get explanation, but BNI, I mean, it's a bit of a over.
It's not my explanation.
No, what we're told
I am
is what I'm
not
talking
justifying what happened.
Yes.
I'm saying that if any citizen is arrested for saying that Dumso is back,
it's wrong.
It will be terrible.
Yes.
Because even if that is peddling false information, I would not think that it would have reached the threshold for arrest.
Absolutely.
So I would condemn it with all the vehemence. Can I just conclude? What I'm saying is that yesterday I had information that his arrest was based on a citizen's complaint of theft of intellectual property. Check that first.
Fine, but why BNI?
Whatever. Is President Mahama the head of
No, I mean to stretch to say no, that's just politics. But I'm saying that.
So if it is wrong, it is wrong.
Yes,
let's deal with it.
That's that point.
And it doesn't matter whether you are NDC or NPP.
Yes.
If something is wrong, it's wrong. That's what's wrong.
And it is wrong. That is why we've seen a repetition of similar instances where people express themselves and they are arrested. They are taken. And that is why the NPP, feeling very, very aggrieved, petitioning the diplomatic corps. There's nothing embarrassing about it. That's the point I want to make. Because clearly, even now, you have agreed with me that this particular issue is very, very appalling.
I haven't said so.
Oh, Angwesi.
I haven't said so.
Angwesi, you said it was wrong. Maybe you didn't use the word appalling.
I'm saying that if this gentleman was arrested, only because he said that Dumso was back, it is indefensible.
Yes, that's what.
However, I've been told that he was arrested on the basis of citizens' complaint to the police. That's what I'm saying.
Today we are being told that words against judges, you should be very careful. And I agree with Angwesi. We should be extremely careful. You just played the video. The current majority leader of parliament called the Supreme Court judges unintelligent.
No, he didn't say that.
Play the video.
Master,
really?
If they were well informed.
Oh, no. You can play it.
Intelligent.
So let's settle this.
Play it.
Let's settle this. Yes, let's settle this.
Yes.
Right, please let's play that.
If they were
the whole city asked it.
Here we go.
We get to a point where the legislation is refusing to accept directives from the apex court of this land. Where are we going? We are going back. You are restoring the law of nature in this country where the strongest fights and wins. Is that where we want to get to as a country? You are the lawmakers. You should be setting the right example, is what people have said.
That is why you should have knowledgeable people in the Supreme Court. You should have people who know their law. Do you know why?
The Supreme Court is not made up of knowledgeable people.
If they were knowledgeable, they would have known that the U.S. Supreme Court, in the case of Baker and Carr, in 1968.
We get to a point where the legislation is refusing to accept directives from the apex court of this land. Where are we going? We are going back. You are restoring the law of nature in this country where the strongest fights and wins. Is that where we want to get to as a country? You are the lawmakers. You should be setting the right example, is what people have said.
That is why you should have knowledgeable people in the Supreme Court. You should have people who know their law. Do you know why?
The Supreme Court is not made up of knowledgeable people.
If they were knowledgeable, they would have known that the U.S. Supreme Court, in the case of Baker and Carr, in 1968.
Oh, say that. Oh, I'm not saying that. I will have my own way, but I'm saying that if somebody tells me that the Supreme Court judges, they don't know what they are doing at the Supreme Court. They are unintelligent. If you don't understand what they are doing,
Master, that's your spin.
Please,
that's your spin. That's your spin, and that's your spin.
That's the point.
There's a difference between interpreting what somebody has said and what the person has said.
Bro, I'm speaking on my own.
What you're doing is that you are interpreting what the people have said.
Now,
in that video, what Mahama Ayarega said was that that's why in a country like Ghana we need knowledgeable judges. So the judges there at the Supreme Court. How you choose to interpret it is a different matter.
So the judges there are not knowledgeable.
What Mahama Ayarega is saying is,
he said if they were knowledgeable.
Yes. That is exactly what he said.
Listen.
Pacho, we need to play this. I beg you to inform the analysis. No, Pacho, I want us to play it. It will inform the analysis. No, there's a portion which I didn't hear. So if the judges were knowledgeable,
yes, but let me give you the context.
Okay.
He's saying that there's a case which was decided by the U.S. Supreme Court.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that if the judges were knowledgeable, if they
knew about that case,
they would not take this position.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Okay. Knowledge of that particular case.
I have listened to it.
Play it again.
He says if they are knowledgeable, no problem.
Play it.
I am trying to bring something out to you.
No, you know why this is important? Because you Collins. Oh, sorry. Do you know what is important, Collins? It is important because you want to make a case of a denigration of judges. But for us to be able to settle that, we need to hear.
We've listened to. I've made my point.
What you're saying is not what I heard.
You're not being fair to me.
Okay.
Let me make my point.
But you are not being fair to your colleague parliamentarians who are not here. You are attributing to them.
And everybody listen to what he said. If you've watched it.
Last one. Call it last one. Let's do this. I beg you, last one. It's only 1 minute. Last one. I'll give you time. I beg you.
Allow me to make my point.
I'll give you time. Just one last time. I beg you. One last time.
Listen. Is refusing to accept directives from the apex court of this land. Where are we going? We are going back. You are restoring the law of nature in this country where the strongest fights and wins. Is that where we want to get to as a country? You are the lawmakers. You should be setting the right example, is what people have said.
That is why you should have knowledgeable people in the Supreme Court. You should have people who know their law. Do you know why?
The Supreme Court is not made up of knowledgeable people.
If they were knowledgeable, they would have known that the U.S. Supreme Court, in the case of Baker and Carr, in 1968, said
we get to a point where the legislation is refusing to accept directives from the apex court of this land. Where are we going? We are going back. You are restoring the law of nature in this country where the strongest fights and wins.
Unanimous FC. That is how we told them. That's what we told Ghanaians. That is what unanimous FC. The Supreme Court, I'm not talking about circuit court. We sat here, members of this current government, called all of them unanimous FC, as if they don't have a mind of their own. That is what we were told.
If I get to what is said on the tape, and all of us listening to the tape, is that if the judges on the Supreme Court were knowledgeable in reference to a particular case which was determined by the U.S. Supreme Court, so what he's saying that if they knew that the Supreme Court of the U.S. had made such a decision on the principles of law and so on, they could not have taken the decision that they have taken now. That's not an insult.
He's very, very embarrassed that the NPP as a political party has petitioned the diplomatic corps.
No, never said that.
Because I heard you say that you feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel embarrassed.
Yes.
By your call on the Moroccan ambassador.
No, I'm coming to that. We did not call on the Moroccan ambassador. We called on the diplomatic corps. The Moroccan ambassador happened to be the dean at this particular point in time. So the petition was not to the Moroccan ambassador specifically. It is to the diplomatic corps. And so let's clarify that our petition was not to the Moroccan ambassador or an ambassador. It was to the diplomatic corps.
Perhaps just a second. Perhaps the Kwesi Pratt's the legitimacy of the argument he raises comes in if perhaps the NPP had known, as he said, what the track record of Morocco is, so that perhaps instead of petitioning the Moroccan ambassador, you could have petitioned the UK High Commissioner.
No, you are getting it completely wrong.
I guess that's where
I'm saying you are also getting it completely wrong.
Okay.
Our petition was not to the Moroccan ambassador.
No, I get it.
Yes.
I understand that.
If the British High Commissioner was the dean of diplomatic corps, we would have gone to the British High Commissioner.
So the question is, could you have petitioned anybody else within the diplomatic community?
No. Normally you do so to the dean.
Okay.
And that's what we did. Okay. So it was not specific to the Moroccan ambassador.
Okay.
So if Morocco as a country has issues with human rights, it does not apply in this particular circumstance.
Yeah, it's a fair argument.
It's
a valid argument, yes.
But visiting the diplomatic corps is not new in our political dispensation.
True.
Oh, members of the NDC, the current government, diplomatic corps, there are countless examples. Countless examples and times the NDC as a political party has commissioned or petitioned diplomatic corps. They've gone to the Commonwealth Association. They've gone to the dean. In fact, I have reports here. It's nothing new. So nobody should feel embarrassed about it. There shouldn't be any embarrassment.
No, the basis for his embarrassment.
I'm saying that
is what
listen. So if the NDC in 2017, when they raised, the NDC raised formal concern with the Commonwealth regarding the criminal prosecution and harassment of party figures, which is exactly what we did as a political party yesterday.
Yes.
So what is surprising about it? That if we feel that members of our political party are being harassed, and therefore we are petitioning diplomatic members or diplomatic corps who are part of our governance architecture, and it's not new, it's been happening all this while. In fact, His Excellency, the current president himself, has done so. He's met members of the diplomatic corps even before the 2024 elections.
Fact.
What is the big deal about it?
It's a fact, yes.
So if at the time His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was visiting the diplomatic corps, the dean of that institution was the Moroccan ambassador, he would have skipped the Moroccan ambassador and gone somewhere else. He wouldn't. He would have followed the protocol of meeting the dean. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with the NPP saying that some members of our political party are being politically persecuted.
You see, if this is the case, the end Mahama Ayarega, Mahama and the majority leader should be questioned. When I say, oh, tiny pomitayasem, if says that the Abronya Beka, Ghana phobia, so manu the or the saying, minority leader, Afriamakin, Ebeka, Ghana phobia, so manu the so woman tears yet. It's an insult. It is say, it is this, it is that. Tell them to go back and watch Mahama Ayarega video. For NDC to call the whole judges. Yeah, then time another down cook for the breast. So one unanimous FC. Unanimous FC into the Nasa baby about quadrin becono. One we not we were in this country. We were in this country, and Mahama Ayarega say judges then time were not intelligent. That's not what doing yeduma. Omo for what doing yeduma. Okay, and they must have a mark in a cadia. Ebusia, media and commodia may be mountain common and number for previous video. Them there, bro. Now you compare me. I don't support. I'm not in support of insult. No, me in supporting insult. But before I obekase ade we asmesi yi enye entiyanche ne content no na makwa akohwehwem na menya wonso bi se menya video a then time wonso we the same thing na me dey abani discuss what that is me entiene no ankrofo kase honorable afemakin we minority leader keniso wakasa eniso we saying ho na me kokopɛ saa video we say sa na tie de ende Hassan Mahama Ayarega enso ka bi brebi and this is what na baby friend and that time judges on me Ghana forcing or me unanimous FC. What is this? What at all is this? Yachi abronye and they are on say the case in our journey court, I think 24th or something like that. I stand to be corrected. In the abronye that's what you all because we are confident judges or this judge. Me see me maintain power but me tire some abronya nyade so wakasa but the yenshan nkoma then time when DC omo opposition omo die unanimous FC in part what so what nko sa nkoma na se na so na se ba ku ne control mu ina we had this NDC people calling and that time judges omo unanimous FC. We had Mahama Ayarega to say judges that time were not intelligent. One more didn't yeduma, for more didn't yeduma. And young compare that time to a neighbor young comma wedi say and now bron say judge no or NDC. Never compare NDC for air say then time judges no or me unanimous FC baby about quadruple or me isn't that an insult? Mahama Ayarega say judges then time and you're intelligent. Isn't that an insult? But what happened? And Tia Bronyano, Nanka sa judges no, Nanka most what Mahama Ayarega and this would be a mocas answer. Me that is me kuma way and kumo, but I didn't know what you may say. Send none we be, that's all who say a yet dear, and the nay, or being so ya, the same thing. Shut up, no one should say yet. You can have a banner at the boat, you say, or say the bobar. That the Acacia Tranos who mining could and to that time, a baby a be a bintino, and then so a be but Yam Musa said, Nano Diano, Equasi saying that is a country we are living in. But see what the Opa say, baby, NPP for bar, they will arrest NDC for so be. And Tiaban's of mine and go. No minor conco, near the Advini Diagro, and the Advini Diagro. You may see NDC for more friend, judges or me, none more safe. Young prosecute your bill, and you be a contempt to. And the Afidiade. What at all is happening? While I was young, comment section in concluding from highest South African media. Between Edward Man come about and I could feel what I don't know from Santiago, Macron.